Hi, welcome to the Outdoor Laboratory Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Capo, and in today's episode, we're going to be doing a History Helix podcast. And the character that we're going to be diving into is Dale Shewalter. Dale Shewalter served as a Marine in Vietnam, and he was also a school teacher here in Flagstaff. But what he's best known for is founding the Arizona Trail. The Arizona Trail is an 800-mile trail that runs through the state of Arizona from Mexico to Utah. This trip usually takes anywhere from 35 to 45 days, and the ideal time to hike this trail is from October to November and March to April, basically when the temperatures are moderate and not so hot or so cold. Only about 100 people through hike the Arizona Trail each year. The Arizona Trail is divided into 43 different passages from 3 different regions, the southern, central, and northern sections. In the southern section, it runs from the Mexican border to Tucson and passes through the Huachuca Mountains, the Canelo Hills, the Santa Rita Mountains, Las Colinas, the Rincon Valley, the Catalina Mountains, and Oracle Ridge. The central passages run from the Black Hills to the Mogollon Rim, and they include the Tasty Tortilla Mountains, the Gila River Canyons, Superstition Wilderness, Four Peaks, Saddle Mountains, White Rock Mesa, and Highline. And in the north passages, it runs from Blue Ridge to the Buckskin Mountains in Utah. And those include Happy Jack Trail, Mormon Lake, Anderson Mesa, Eldon Mountain, Flagstaff, San Francisco Peaks, the Grand Canyon, and the Kaibab Plateau. Dale Shewalter came up with this idea of an 800-mile non-motorized trail when he was a school teacher here in Flagstaff. He hiked from Nogales to Utah, and he decided to start looking to the possibility of creating this trail. His vision for this trail was to connect the communities of the mountains, the canyons, and the deserts, to link them to the public lands, historic sites, and forests that they have access to here in Arizona. In the late 1980s, Dale was hired by the Kaibab National Plateau to be its coordinator. And in 1994, the Arizona Trail gained nonprofit status. The supporters who came to help the Arizona Trail be what it is today were backpackers, mountain bikers, and runners. And they came in to help make these trails and maintain them. They provided the GPS coordinates, the water sources, and the fundraise for this trail. Out of all these people, the most committed person to the trail was Dale. He once quit his job and put 60,000 miles on his car to lobby landholding agencies for their approval. He noticed that the lands of Arizona formed its own corridor through its states, and he wanted to form a trail system, not just a single trail. He noticed that there are already trails here in Arizona that he could link to each other, and by doing that, he was able to make what is today's Arizona Trail. When he was scouting for the trail, he averaged about 25 miles a day, and in 1988, the first 7 miles of the Arizona Trail were dedicated on the Kaibab Plateau. Although Dale is responsible for starting this idea, he felt that it was a collective effort by many. All the backpackers, hikers, and outdoor enthusiasts who came out to help were all founders of the trail to Dale. Dale would serve as a member of the board of directors for the Arizona Trail Association for the remainder of his life. He later fell ill to cancer and passed away on January 10, 2010 at the age of 59. Now, Dale was a pretty interesting guy, and a lot of interesting things happened to him, and there's a story by Phyllis Raleigh about what happened to Dale one night. He was hiking in a pine forest and passed under a spot under a large pine tree that looked like a great place to pitch his first tent. He decided, however, to hike a bit further and ultimately found another location to spend the night. When he returned the next day after a thunderstorm, he found that a tree at the first location had been struck by lightning. The tree was splintered apart, and long dagger-sized pieces of fence posts were sticking in the ground all over the area where he planned to pitch his tent. So was Dale Shewalter this person that might have had an important thing to do with his life? Where nature said, hey, we're gonna save this man from this issue? And yes, that's what happened. Dale was also a really cool character. There's a story of Dale said by Tom Colson while he was hiking one day. I was working up near the Utah-Arizona border, near the Arizona Trail work event, and had been quite a ways up the mountains with my group. As I came down the mountain later in the day, admiring the nice new trail, I saw a man working on a rock in the path. He wore a large hat and was intent on moving this obstacle from the trail. I stopped to say hello and see if I could help. It was Dale. What a surprise. I didn't even know he was in the area. We worked on that rock for what seemed like a long time. The more we dug, the bigger the rock got. Finally, I suggested that maybe this rock couldn't be moved. He looked at me with a big smile and said, "We'll get it." Since he seemed to enjoy the challenge, it inspired me to stay with it too. And we did succeed in removing this obstacle from the trail. He was sure happy to get it moved, and so was I. We talked about the rock for years later. He still remembered it, and I remember being inspired by him. Dale was a very influential member of the outdoor community. His hard and diligent work is something that we need to model today. He's a leader in work ethic and what it takes to get something done. He connected Arizona through a trail. People are constantly section hiking it and going into these trails and having a first-hand experience with nature. They're communing with it. We can use Dale as a role model today. Do you have something that you care enough to quit your job about? 60,000 miles worth of work? That's what it takes to get something done, like what Dale did. The Arizona Trail is important in connecting Arizona as a community. And if you would like to do your part for the Arizona Trail, you can donate at the links in the description. You can also join the Arizona Trail Association and volunteer for trail maintenance. You can even be a trail angel. What is a trail angel, you might ask? Well, I have an answer for you. It is the name of someone who offers a helping hand to hikers and day hikers. That can be shuttling them from place to place, offering them showers, lodging, even snacks, guys. Snacks are a big thing for hikers. All of these links and all of this stuff you can be found in the description. And you could also go hike today if you're in Arizona. Go ahead and experience the Arizona Trail and experience what Dale Shewalter left for all of us and his legacy. Come and experience it for yourself. Have a great day.